Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to give you an update on where things stand with my Zepbound coverage now that my employer switched over to CVS Caremark as of January 1st. And I will be honest with you, this past Monday was one of the most frustrating days I've had in a long time. At first, I could not even log into the CVS Caremark member site. There was a glitch that kept pulling up an inactive account from years ago. After getting that sorted out and finally logging in for the first time, I was immediately disappointed. So of course, as soon as I'm given the keys to the kingdom, I'm going to start poking around. And I did start looking at all of my information that was imported. And there was no indication at all that my prior authorization had transferred over from my previous PBM. This was my worst fear as far as this whole process went. Even though we were told it would be honored, it just was not there. Now, Zepbound did show up on my list of medications, but there was no information about coverage or approval status, so I had no choice, of course, but to call them. And honestly, that call was a complete fiasco. So the first representative told me that my medication was approved, but that my 1-month copay for Zepbound would be over, sit down guys, sit down for this number. It would be over $3,100 a month. Of course, I pushed back immediately because I knew that couldn't be right. She argued about it, tried to tell me that's what it was. It was because, you know, of the type of medication it was, this whole big spiel she had. And then she tried to steer me away from Zepbound. And guess what she recommended? You know the answer to this. I'm going to say it anyhow. Wegovy. She tried to encourage me to move over to Wegovy. And of course I told her, no, not interested. Who else can I talk to? And before we go on, for anyone that is new here, please know that I have nothing against Wegovy. It is a great medication and it does work very well for a lot of people. But given my history of comorbidities that are related to being overweight, Zepbound was the clear choice for my health back then. And it has genuinely changed my life. I would not change a thing as far as my decision to take Zepbound. After a lot of back and forth and quite a bit of misinformation, I finally convinced her to escalate my case to a senior level representative. And once that happened, I finally got clear answers. Here's what I learned. First, the prior authorization. Guess what? They do have my PA on file, and it's valid through August of 2026. They are honoring it, and I am incredibly relieved that I don't have to fight that battle right now. What happens in August, I honestly have no idea what to expect, but I also don't know what my treatment plan will look like by then. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Secondly, let's talk about the copays. It is not the $3,100 that I was quoted. My cost is supposed to be a little over $200 for a 1-month supply and about $630 for a 3-month supply. Now, that does not include the savings from the Zepbound savings card, so I expect that final cost will be much lower. I also found out that a CVS pharmacy, at least those in our area, will fill a 3-month prescription, and I have my order in now for that. I will be sure to update you with what my final cost is once that comes in and my Zepbound savings card is applied to the balance. 3-month supplies are very difficult to find locally, and I imagine it's that way across the United States. Many of the local pharmacies cite supply issues for the reason for not offering that as an option, and this is really confusing to me and many others, especially since both Lilly and Novo Nordisk say shortages are resolved. So who really knows what's going on there? The third thing I want to talk about is the mail order option. Well, unfortunately, Zepbound is not eligible for mail delivery through CVS Caremark. Some doses of Wegovy can be shipped, but none of the Zepbound doses are available for delivery. Before I go any further, I want to say this clearly. Even with all of this frustration that I've encountered along the way, I do know how fortunate I am to have coverage right now, and I truly empathize with those of you who are still fighting for your medication. I have been there. Please don't give up. So why am I covered when CVS Caremark removed Zepbound from many formularies last summer? I will be honest with you guys. I am a bit of a skeptic, and I won't be surprised at all if they don't deny me in August. If I do, in fact, still need to continue with Zepbound, I might not. Now, I don't know this for certain, but part of me believes this coverage is tied to the agreement CVS made with my employer when we switched PBMs, especially since we were told existing prior authorizations would be honored unless otherwise noted. There may also be broader pressure that's happening there with CVS Caremark due to the lawsuits and patient complaints after Zepbound was dropped from their formularies last July. I've also seen people online saying that CVS Caremark has quietly added Zepbound back to formularies. So I did some digging, and here's what I found about that. As of late 2025 and heading into 2026, so right now, this is current info, Zepbound is still generally excluded from CVS Caremark's standard formularies. However, some employer-sponsored plans have exceptions, and that may be the case with mine. There are also ongoing appeals and lawsuits that are related to CVS prioritizing Wegovy for cost reasons. Some patients report success through appeals or employer-level decisions, but to be clear, CVS Caremark has not broadly reinstated Zepbound across standard plans. As a quick summary for you guys, Zepbound was removed from most CVS Caremark plans in July of 2025. Coverage now varies by employer. Appeals have worked for some patients, and as of early 2026, it is still not a preferred option on most standard plans. If you need Zepbound and you are under CVS Caremark, here's what I recommend. Confirm your specific plan details with CVS Caremark or contact your HR department for that information. Talk with your doctor about a letter of medical necessity and be prepared to appeal if needed. Sometimes it takes multiple appeals. I think I had 3, was going into my 4th appeal by the time I was actually approved the first time. Now, let's briefly talk about TrumpRx because I know many of you have questions about whether that will impact these insurance copays. TrumpRx does not directly affect copays for people with employer-sponsored or commercial insurance. It's a cash pay platform that operates outside traditional insurance benefits. That said, it could create indirect pressure that lowers prices over time. For Medicare, this is where the biggest change is happening. Eligible beneficiaries using GLP-1s for obesity could see copays capped at $50 per month, which is a major shift. For Medicaid, manufacturers have agreed to offer GLP-1s at most favored nation pricing, meaning copays would likely be minimal or even zero, depending on the state. And it does vary by state. I do have a video that's going to be coming out soon regarding what's happening in the state of Pennsylvania. So stay tuned for that. For those with commercial insurance, TrumpRx doesn't change plan design, but it does introduce a lower cost cash option, potentially around $350 per month, trending lower over time, which could lead some people to bypass insurance altogether. I know that was a lot of information, and thanks for sticking with me through some of my little moments when I went off the rails. But it's time to switch gears and look at where I am personally after 10 months on Zepbound. When I first started, I honestly did not expect much. Nothing had worked for me before. I had been pre-diabetic for 10 years. My cholesterol was dangerously high, and my blood pressure was difficult to control even with medication. 10 months later, my health looks completely different. I am off blood pressure meds. I'm down 25 pounds, but my weight loss is at a complete standstill, and we will talk about that in a minute. And I am also committed to a more structured exercise routine, strength training, which is not my favorite, and cardio, which I actually love. I'd like to lose about 10 more pounds, which should put me in a range where my health markers feel solid and sustainable. At least my doctor and I hope that will be the case. And this isn't just me pulling a number out of the air. I have talked to my doctor about this at great length, and we both agreed this is a reasonable and safe goal for me. So yesterday I messaged my doctor about my weight loss stalling, and we both made the decision together to titrate up to the 7.5 milligram dose. My nausea has diminished. My appetite has increased, not to where it was before, but enough to show my body has adjusted to the 5 milligram dose, and I really do believe it is time for me to move up in dosage if I want to get to where I need to be. I am hopeful that this dose, combined with my exercise plan, will take me to the finish line in terms of my health goals. And I know the journey doesn't end there. My treatment will likely evolve during maintenance. As for coverage, I don't know what August will bring once my current PA expires. I don't yet know what maintenance will look like for me, but I'm close to where I want to be, and I'm taking you with me every step of the way. I will share this whole journey with you guys so that you can know sort of what to expect. Even though everyone is different, we're all on the same path to better health. So stick around for that. If you found today's video to be helpful, please give it a like, subscribe so you can keep walking this journey with me, and drop a comment to let me know where you are on your path to better health. Thanks so much for watching today, and I'll see you in the next video.